रोटी में अगर नमक नहीं होना तो रोटी फीकी पड़ जाती है, लेकिन नमक की रोटी नहीं बनानी चाहिए.
The reason why I placed Javed Akhtar's statement in the introduction of the video was because I was getting asked in the comment section and certain DMs about the lack of risks that take place in the film industry currently. And I wanted to share a story with you regarding what an individual who is an active part of the film industry told me. What he said was that, Jamie, you keep on talking about the ability of actors in videos and whether the storytelling was effective or not. But nobody speaks about the terrible state of production currently. What he told me was that the entire film industry is now catered towards popular IPs and securing one's investment. So, the reason why an Ajay Devgan, this is just for example, is associating with producers to make Son of Sardar 2, Raid 2, De De Pyar De 2 and Singham Again is because the callback value of these movies already guarantee a price for its satellite, OTT and musical rights. Oftentimes, even before the movie has gone on the floors for shooting. Listen to this. Sometimes even before the script has been formulated, producers find themselves in a situation of being cash positive. Therein, absolutely nullifying the need to take risks. I had tweeted long back regarding how most commercial films with big ensemble casts don't have a script, and they often just figure it out as dates become available of actors. So there are many times where actors are offered movies, the motivating factor being that it is associated with a popular IP, and that's about it. The script, the screenplay, the motivations of the characters are immaterial and something that will be figured out. They are essentially hollow projects masked as commercial big theatre experiences. थोड़ा डांस, थोड़ा सा एक्शन, एक दो कॉमेडी के टॉइंग वाले साउंड इफेक्ट्स और ऊपर ऊपर बना लेंगे पिक्चर. Is literally the state of film production because the ones investing their money are in the clear even before the movie has released theatrically. This is the analogy that Javed Akhtar speaks about when he made the movie Iman Dharam with Salim Khan, where the ingredients were set but the story itself seemed hollow, almost piggybacking off of elements which may work with the audience. I just wanted to get this out of my chest before we get into the main crux of the video. Mass commercial directors often say BS things like हम audience का pulse जानते हैं, but आधे से ज़्यादा time they just benefit from increasing installments of an already existing IP and pack in as many known faces in the project so that they are in the clear already. I'm not referencing anyone specifically. This is probably going to be the most contentious Unpopular Opinions video, so get ready to be enraged and partake in several debates in the comment section below. I know many times I get accused of saying pretty popular things and mask them as something that is believed by only a select few, but trust me, with this video, we will be covering opinions that is definitely going to rattle a lot of people. Again, before I say this, we can of course agree to disagree, okay? So provide your take in the comments, but we don't want any mudslinging or ugly spats going on over here. This is a safe space and let's keep it that way. So here is Tried&Refused Productions with 8 unpopular Indian movie opinions you will hate me for. Akay Kumar will never get it. The star who is under the scanner recently for his movies just not opening in theatres to even do moderately considerable business is going to have his next release next week. Akshay Kumar is starring in the movie Khel Khel Mein on 15th of August, a remake of the Italian film Perfect Strangers that has been remade in over 20 countries. While the trailer finally seems like Akshay Kumar is having fun in a playful comedy, I was seeing the press conference for the film and I just could not help but notice one thing regarding the actor when he was asked about the saturation of his appearances and the frequency with which he stars in movies.
कोई एक जर्नलिस्ट ने लिख भी दिया, but don't worry you will be back. अरे मैं उसको फोन करके बोला, भाई तू ये क्यों लिख रहा है? बैक मतलब गया कहाँ हूँ? इधर ही हूँ, काम करते रहूंगा, हमेशा काम करते रहूंगा, चाहे लोग कुछ भी बोलें. सुबह उठना है, कसरत करनी है, काम पे जाना है, वापस आना है. जो भी कमाता हूँ अपने दम पे कमाता हूँ.
There is something that Akshay seems to just not understand regarding the criticism towards his film roles, and that it has nothing to do with his dedication towards the job, but the lack of artistic approach he has towards roles, treating it like a regular 9 to 5 clocking in and clocking out of time, not realizing that movie experiences have to be far more all encompassing than just showing up. I feel like the actor is not really going to get this ever and dismiss most of it as noise. And I can anticipate a movie like Jolly LLB 3 doing really well and him looking back at us and saying something like, "I told you so." Not realizing that the criticism regarding the craft and what we expect from him as a star is much more and justified. He asks in this press conference what he should do on days where he is not working, and for a star who has gained so much of wealth for himself for the years he has dedicated to the craft and the industry, one just wants to remind him that his appearances in a movie should be an event and not something that garners a reaction of exhaustion from the audience. Anushka Sharma was always a limited actor. I have a lot of respect for Anushka Sharma, the producer, and the kind of stories and talent that she has backed from behind the scenes. But what I have always felt regarding her acting roles is that she has a beautiful face that has always lacked range and versatility. While I have absolutely enjoyed her in a movie like Band Baja Bharat, I think her peak was what she was capable of pulling off in a film like NH10 and Sultan. However, whenever the actor was required to do the heavy lifting in any commercial movie, barring the bubbly Punjabi city girl or the Haryanvi wrestler in Sultan, she has been extremely underwhelming. It either tilted towards overacting or an accent that was unbearable. Jab Tak Hai Jaan, I think, immensely tanked because you never felt any depth in what Akira felt for Summer. Alize and the irritating journey of Ae Dil Hai Mushkil was only partly salvaged because of its music. I was rooting more for Ranbir to run off with Aishwarya Rai than for Alize to appear with her bald head. Don't get me started on the terrible English accent in Sanju and whatever that abysmal Gujarati one was in Jab Harry Met Sejal, when Anushka possibly did her most challenging role as a NASA scientist who has cerebral palsy in Zero. It was a terrible miss in terms of pitch, delivery, and tonality. Never did I imagine that in a film with SRK, Anushka, and Katrina, that Katrina would be the best performance. So a great producer, no doubt, but I have to confess, a very limited actor in range and ability. Karthik, the effort versus flow state. I always find myself being in a sticky situation regarding Karthik and his performances because I genuinely, from the core of my heart, root for him. There is just something about his story, his rise to prominence, and me just knowing the reality of the industry on how bloody tough it may have been for him to reach where he is, that makes me just celebrate his victories tenfold. Even though Karthik is attempting several genres and challenging himself as an actor, I always see the effort versus a flow state. And by this I mean, when an actor just performs an emotional scene, you can't help yourself but be organically drawn towards them. Few actors possess that quality. Whereas when I see Karthik say in a Chandu Champion, I see the effort. I commend it for the hard work. But I never feel that organic leap of him having completely surrendered and me feeling the pain right in my gut. I feel the same with his dancing too. I see him making the effort, really trying, but that natural lachak is almost lacking. When you praise him for pushing himself, but that refined touch, it's just not there. Hey, at least he is pushing himself, so kudos to him. But I still wait for that moment where a Karthik Aaryan performance completely blows me away and I stand and say, now that deserves an award. I have just never reached there. The Bollywood crisis is different. Many people consider Hindi cinema to have several problems regarding its lack of creativity and risks with stories. And this just reminds me of the speech given by Cord Jefferson, where he won the Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay for American Fiction, where he said, I know this is a risk-averse industry, but $200 million is also a risk. And it doesn't always work out, but you take the risk anyway. Instead of making one $200 million movie, try to make 20 $10 million movies. Speaking of which, we do not have new voices behind the camera. The same directors of Hindi cinema who were causing waves in the 90s and the early 2000s are still making movies. I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but they are the only dependable directors that we think about in Hindi cinema. Karan Johar, Anurag Kashyap, Sanjay Leela Bhansali, Rajkumar Hirani, all directors working for more than 2 decades are still the go-to names. You don't have young voices, unlike in Tamil and Malayalam cinema, where you have Madon Ashwin making a Maaveeran, and Abhinav Sundar Nayak making a Mukundan Unni Associates, a Jeetu Madhavan making an Avesham. The crisis is that the aged filmmakers in their 50s and 60s at one point of time will seem jaded in their storytelling. And there is a desperate need for filmmakers to pass the baton to young filmmakers and invest moderate budgets on them and bet on them. The problem is not talentless nepo babies that the internet wants to rage about every week. It's also the lack of new voices behind the camera. The commercial female lead evolution, especially Hindi versus Telugu. This is an opinion that may rattle you because this is something that I've sadly come to terms with of never changing. We spoke about the sacrifice, if you can call it that, female actors have to make when they pivot towards commercial cinema. This is specifically when we spoke about Tripti and Bad News. How this compels them to cater to the male gaze, as almost more than 70% of the theatre-going audience is male. This, especially in the case of Telugu cinema, is flower pot roles where the women look beautiful, come in for inconsequential romantic angles, and feature in some of the songs. This is a template that has just not evolved, especially in commercial Telugu cinema. What's crazy is that the only evolution has been that the women have changed and the men are the same. You had Junior NTR in 2006 romancing the likes of Samira Reddy and Ileana D'Cruz, and now it is with the likes of Janvi Kapoor. Balaya romanced Katrina at one point of time, and now he will romance Shruti Hassan. Mahesh Babu was with Bhumika Chawla, now he's with Srilila. This is the same for Hindi cinema too. SRK went from being paired with Juhi and Kajol to being opposite Deepika, while Salman went from Karishma Kapoor to Disha Patni. I don't blame Janvi to do the Telugu commercial pivot because this garners a fan base on the ground level which is unprecedented and does more for your career than the indie roles that get restricted within the confines of internet praise. But it is hilarious on how the template never changes, but as the years pass by, only the women do. The difference is that Hindi cinema has seen more of an evolution regarding the representation of women in commercial movies, where they have roles of consequence. Telugu cinema mostly, and I say mostly, restricts the roles of beautiful women to be an appreciation of only their body and come in for the glamour of song and dance. The anomaly to this rule is Mrunal Thakur and her stint with Telugu cinema. What's crazy is that back in the day, actresses would start their career with Telugu and Tamil cinema hoping for a launch in Bollywood, and now they hope and wish they can catapult their career through Telugu cinema. It just tells you that they are aiming for an audience that are just more loyal film fans and nothing more. Salman is unmatched. There is an Amir Khan interview that is doing the rounds on social media where he is talking about star power and what is the correct measurement of it.
So you should measure the stardom of a star with his flops, not with his hits.
In this regard, if I were to talk about the 3 biggest stars of Hindi cinema, the Khans, and compare their worst movies and the business that they have done in the last 10 years, I'll put Shah Rukh Khan's Jab Harry Met Sejal, Amir Khan's Thugs of Hindustan, and Salman Khan's Kisi Ka Bhai Kisi Ki Jaan. Even though Amir wins in this 3-way battle in terms of the business that the movie did, only a Salman Khan can ensure a box office revenue of 131 crores with a show that was that movie. If you discount China, Shah Rukh Khan has an unmatched international track record with his movies, which is incomparable across industries, not only Hindi cinema. But if you see from an Indian market context, on the ground level, the Salman Khan stardom post Wanted is truly unmatched, in the sense that he can literally feature in the worst movies and they'll still end up doing business, which most movies dream of. The fact that Salman Khan with movies like Kisi Ka Bhai Kisi Ki Jaan, Dabangg 3, Race 3 and Tube Light can do business upwards of 100 plus crores in India is just a testament that at least from the Indian market POV, in the Hindi film industry, Salman is the biggest star. K3G is better than DDLJ. From an overall quality regarding the effectiveness of romance, the humor and banter shared between characters, the familial background and interpersonal relationships, the emotional resonance of the film, I genuinely believe that Kabhi Khushi Kabhie Gham is way more wholesome and a holistically more entertaining film than DDLJ. While DDLJ is one of the most celebrated romances from Hindi cinema that is equated to have paved the way for Hindi cinema's tryst with romance in the 90s and made SRK the heartthrob of the nation, I found the dynamic of the romance, especially the courting process, always sort of creepy. I found the humor to be really loud and crass in certain scenes. Yes, the overarching theme of the star-crossed lovers culminates beautifully in the end, but I found K3G just to be far superior. The family dynamic, the relationship with the elders, the chemistry between the leads and especially with the parents, the ultimate reunions that still make me sob, the evergreen music, and just the perfect ending to a family entertainer, I believe it has way more recall value than DDLJ. I definitely saved the best for the last. I for many months thought that the most anticipated film of 2024 for me would be Double Smart Shankar, directed by Puri Jagannath. But after the spectacular trailer that just dropped 2 days back, that spot has been overtaken by none other than the pan-world film Martin. If there is a movie that can really put us on the global map, it is this film. I really cannot wait.
Hey guys, आज का वर्ड है sarcasm. SARCASM.